SMART goals are just something that's specific, measurable, actionable, realistic. Don't forget the realistic and time bound. And when we say realistic, we don't mean realistic like in the real world. What we mean is realistic. Do we realistically believe that this protagonist could achieve this thing? Because obviously, if you're writing a fantasy or a sci fi film, Avengers, is it realistic for a dude to build a suit that he flies around in and then get stuck in space? No. But within the confines of that world, is it realistic for us to believe that they could achieve the goal that they're trying to achieve? That's what we mean by realistic. And so that's what we, as you see, it says balance difficulty with credibility. That's where the credibility comes in. And that's why it's important to set up that social proof in the normal. Because if you don't set up the social proof, we're not going to believe that your protagonist can achieve the goal that you set them to achieve. Specific is pretty straightforward, right? What is the actual clear goal that they're trying to accomplish? Again, bring everybody back from Thanos, snapping them out of existence, rob the casino, get the girl, get the boy. You get the idea. Measurable. Can we track it? Are we able to visually be able to track their success, or I shouldn't say their success, their progress, whether it's success or failure, as we're watching them on screen? So we can track, again, we can track Moana's success. Okay, yeah, cool. She just found Maui. Great. Now, oh, great. They got the hook. Awesome. Now they're going to learn how to sail. So we can track that as we're watching it. Actionable. Cause and effect is really important. And so a lot of times newer writers will tell me about their story and they'll say, okay, this thing happens and then this happens and then this happens and then this happens. What you want to strive for in your story, regardless of genre or format, is this thing happens. So because this happened, now this happens. And then this happens, which causes this to happen. And then that causes that to happen. And then that causes this to happen. It's not just a this and then and then and then and then. It's cause and effect. So again, let's talk about Avengers Endgame. We got to save the people that Thanos snapped out of existence. Cool. What's the first thing we got to do? We got to go find Thanos. We find Thanos, but he doesn't have the stones anymore. So now that causes us to have to figure out a way to get the stones back. But we don't know how to do that. But then Scott shows up, Ant-Man shows up. Maybe we can go back in time and get him back in time through the quantum realm. Great. But we don't know how to get to navigate the quantum realm. So now we got to figure out somebody who can help us do that. That's why they go to Tony Stark. Tony Stark turns him down. So now we got to find somebody else. And that's why they go to Hulk, right? And he's like, cool, let's figure it out. And they experiment, but it doesn't work. So now they got to figure out how to make it work. And then Tony Stark's create this time-space GPS thing or whatever he does. So now that they got that and they know how to navigate, now they got to figure out where the stones actually are. So it's cause and effect. It's not just a bunch of stuff happening. It's one thing causing the next thing. Ticking clock. Obviously, the shorter the ticking clock, the more thrilling your story will be. The longer the ticking clock, the less thrilling it'll be. But again, you may not be writing a thriller, so you don't need it to be super thrilling. Think about a movie like Happy Gilmore. His goal was to win money to get his mom out of the nursing home. But then they added a ticking clock at the midpoint because his nemesis bought his mom's house at auction and was like, now you gotta be ready by this specific tournament, because if you don't win this tournament, now you can't get the house back. So even that has a ticking clock. So the ticking clock doesn't have to literally be a clock that's ticking down the seconds and the minutes. It could be a date in the future, or like again, Ocean's 11, we talked about, we got to rob the casino on this day because that's when the fight's happening, right? So ticking clocks can help just add drama, add suspense, add tension to whatever it is, the story that you're thinking of.
And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com. I'm out.